Welcome to Elevate. This is the fourth episode of our series, Building Strong Connections, titled How to Resolve Conflicts in Relationships. Today, we will explore various strategies and techniques to resolve conflicts effectively and constructively in our personal and professional relationships. Let's begin. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship, but knowing how to handle them constructively can strengthen relationships and promote mutual understanding. The key is to approach conflicts with an open attitude and focus on finding solutions that benefit both parties. Importance of resolving conflicts constructively. Resolving conflicts constructively is essential because it helps maintain healthy and lasting relationships. By managing conflicts effectively, you can strengthen mutual trust and respect, improve communication and understanding, reduce stress and tension, promote an environment of cooperation and collaboration. Now, let's explore some practical strategies to resolve conflicts in your relationships. For 1, stay calm and control emotions. The first strategy for resolving conflicts is to stay calm and control your emotions. Here are some tips to do that. Take deep breaths. Deep breathing can help you calm down and reduce stress. Take a moment. If you feel overwhelmed or angry, take a moment to step away and calm down before continuing the conversation. Be aware of your emotions. Recognize and accept your emotions, but do not let them control you. 2, practice active listening. Active listening is fundamental for resolving conflicts. Here are some tips for practicing active listening. Give full attention. Dedicate your full attention to the person speaking. Ask clarifying questions. Ask questions to ensure you fully understand the other person's point of view. Reflect and paraphrase. Reflect and paraphrase what the other person has said to confirm your understanding. 3, use assertive communication. Assertive communication is essential for expressing your thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully. Here are some tips for practicing assertive communication. Use I statements. Use I feel or I need statements to express your emotions without blaming the other person. Be clear and direct. Express your thoughts and feelings clearly and directly. Maintain a respectful tone. Speak in a calm and respectful tone. 4, identify the underlying issue. Often, surface conflicts are symptoms of deeper underlying issues. Here are some tips for identifying the underlying issue. Ask deep questions. Ask questions to dig deeper into the problem and understand the other person's true concerns. Listen with empathy. Listen with empathy to fully understand the other person's emotions and concerns. Before continuing, I want to invite you to follow us on social media to stay updated on new episodes and content. You will find the links in the description, and you can listen to our episodes on Spotify, Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube. Additionally, feel free to leave your comments and share your thoughts with the community. We would love to know how you are applying these strategies in your daily relationships. 5, seek win-win solutions. Seeking win-win solutions is an important strategy for resolving conflicts constructively. Here are some tips for finding win-win solutions. Focus on common interests. Instead of focusing on individual positions, focus on common interests and look for solutions that benefit both parties. Generate creative options. Think of creative options that can satisfy both parties' needs. Be open to compromise. Be willing to compromise and find a middle ground that is acceptable to both parties. 6, avoid blame and judgment. Blaming and judging the other person can escalate the conflict and make resolution difficult. Here are some tips to avoid blame and judgment. Use neutral language. Use neutral and non-accusatory language when expressing your thoughts and feelings. Focus on behavior, not the person. Instead of criticizing the person, focus on the specific behavior that caused the conflict. How do these strategies sound so far? Would you like to implement any of them to resolve conflicts in your relationships? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Feel free to leave your comments and share your thoughts with the community. 7, be open and flexible. Openness and flexibility are key to resolving conflicts effectively. Here are some tips to stay open and flexible during a conflict. Consider different perspectives. Keep an open mind and consider the other person's perspectives and viewpoints. Be willing to adapt. Be willing to adapt and change your approach if necessary to find a solution that works for both parties. Explore options. Don't limit yourself to just one solution. Explore different options and approaches to resolving the conflict. And 8. Practice empathy. Empathy is fundamental for resolving conflicts constructively. Here are some tips for practicing empathy. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Acknowledge and validate emotions. Recognize and validate the other person's emotions, showing that you understand how they feel. Listen with compassion. Listen with compassion and show emotional support during the conversation. 9. Focus on solutions, not problems. Instead of focusing on problems and complaints, focus on finding constructive solutions. Here are some tips to do so. Identify underlying needs. Instead of focusing on specific problems, identify the underlying needs that must be met. Seek constructive alternatives. Think of constructive alternatives that can meet both parties' needs. Collaborate to find solutions. Work collaboratively with the other person to find mutually beneficial solutions. 10. Make compromises. Compromises are often necessary to resolve conflicts effectively. Here are some tips for making compromises. Be flexible. Be willing to be flexible and make concessions if necessary. Find a middle ground. Look for a middle ground that is acceptable to both parties. Ensure both parties are satisfied. Ensure that both parties are satisfied with the compromise and feel heard and respected. 11. Evaluate and learn from conflicts. It's important to evaluate and learn from conflicts to improve your conflict resolution skills in the future. Here are some tips for evaluating and learning from conflicts. Reflect on the conflict. Take some time to reflect on the conflict and evaluate how it was handled. Identify areas for improvement. Identify any areas for improvement and consider how you could handle the conflict differently in the future. Apply what you learned. Apply what you have learned from each conflict to improve your conflict resolution skills in the future. Once I met two colleagues who had a recurring conflict over task distribution in their team. They decided to practice active listening and assertive communication to better understand each other's needs and concerns. They sought win-win solutions and were willing to make compromises. Over time, they found a task distribution that satisfied both and strengthened their working relationship. How do these additional strategies sound to you? Would you like to implement any of them to resolve conflicts in your relationships? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Feel free to leave your comments and share your thoughts with the community. We have discussed a variety of strategies to resolve conflicts in relationships, from staying calm and practicing active listening to seeking win-win solutions and making compromises. To integrate these practices into your daily life, start by implementing one or two of these strategies and see how they impact your relationships. Keep an open and adaptive attitude, adjusting your methods as necessary to find what works best for you. I hope this episode has provided you with valuable tools and inspired you to resolve conflicts in your relationships effectively. This has been the 4th episode of our series, Building Strong Connections, and the topic was how to resolve conflicts in relationships. We hope you enjoyed it and that you can continue the path of personal development with us. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on social media to stay updated on new episodes and content. You will find the links in the description, and you can listen to our episodes on Spotify, Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and don't miss the next episode. Goodbye.